Some bunnies with a bazooka dump.
Way downtown. Bang! Bang!
Mama, there goes that man.
Welcome to another episode of A Tribe Called Swish. This is episode 18 we on right now. Another episode from your boy Solo Dolo. We're going to try to get Josh or Kev sometime next week. But for now, it's just me, and we got a lot of things to go over. We have finally toward the end of NBA transaction season. We got the WNBA All-Star Weekend coming up. We're going to do some different stuff this week. We're going to talk about some culture stuff. So we're even going to do some wrestling, some music. We're going to do a little bit of everything right now. This is going to be kind of a new type of episode. So delve into topics that we haven't delved in before, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. So first, let's start with what we normally talk about, the NBA, man. So the free agent season is pretty much over now. So everyone's kind of found their home. There's probably a few odds and ends, but not a lot of surprises this summer. Not a lot of blockbuster deals that we can kind of go back on. Like, we really haven't been surprised since Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis back in February. So for the most part, everything made sense. No real surprises. You know, Houston still looks like that Kevin Durant move is going to be the move that's going to really elevate them. I like the fact that Phoenix has kind of cleaned up their roster now. Bradley Beal went to the Clippers. I'll talk about that a little bit later. KD again to the Rockets, and now it's really Devin Booker's team, and they're trying to really rebuild that team around him. So they may be promising in a few years, but at least they've kind of got out of that albatross that they were in for the past few years. The number one story that's been kind of interesting during Summer League has been, does LeBron want to leave the Lakers? And it's not something that any of us really saw going into the offseason, but it kind of makes sense. LeBron probably has 1 to 2 years left, and he's ring chasing. Let's be real. He wants to get that. He wants to get to Mike. He wants to get that Mike. The Lakers aren't going to win a championship this year or even next year. Not with how that roster is and what their salary cap situation is. LeBron did opt in to $52 million because one thing LeBron is not a game about is his money, and I do not blame him for that. But where does he go? You know, Rich Paul has said on different podcasts that I think the Mavericks have reached out, and like 4 other teams have reached out to him, and just to see exactly is there a chance that LeBron can get traded, and that's still like, I just don't know, bringing in LeBron right now to most of these teams, what he kind of adds. Does he really put you over the top without you having to lose so much of the things that make you competitive? I don't know. I think right now his best bet is to really sail off into the sunset as the Lakers. I mean, look, he's got the records. He's going to be the all-time leader in scoring. Probably he's going to end up being like top 3, top 2 in assists. So top 10 in rebounds when it's all said and done. So finish your career as a Laker, right off to the sunset. But that team is not going to be competitive. You guys, if Luka and you are healthy, you could probably be second round. Probably it's probably the ceiling for that team. I personally just want him to stay in LA, right on the sunset, get your flowers, and then that's it. I don't want any more LeBron drama. I think we've exhausted it, and the fact that there's really no moves to make for him, it's right off in the sunset, man. Be easy. Unless they're gonna find a way to get him to Golden State, which I don't think that's happening. But that's the only way that could be interesting. But besides that, let's let him ride into the sunset. You've given us everything you have. You owe us nothing. So let's just ride off in the sunset as a Laker. That's not a bad gig. Bradley Beal to the Clippers. Bradley Beal, get your money. When we talk about generational wealth, when we look at what Bradley Beal has earned over his career, hey man, get your money. He is not in a game about when it comes to getting paid. He got the buyout from the Suns, and now he's heading to the Clippers on a 2-year deal. The Clippers have made some moves. I think it's cool, but I don't see them really competing still in the West. I think there's always health concerns with Kawhi down the stretch. Bradley Beal, I don't think he's played more than 40 games in 3 seasons. James Harden always falls apart in the playoffs. So none of these moves really excite me for the Clippers. The Clippers are pretty much a West Coast version of the Heat. Good coaching will always keep them competitive and always keep them in the game. But without the talent, without the horses to really execute on these things, you will always be competitive, but never in a championship hunt. So we have Giannis staying with the Bucks is probably what's going to happen. I know this is the first year he made a statement that he's thinking about exploring other teams, but Giannis loves Milwaukee. I don't see Giannis just fitting. Like, I really thought it was going to be Giannis going to the Spurs when they got that high pick. Minus that, I just think that Giannis just fits in Milwaukee. And unfortunately for Giannis, he's going to be in this middle ground and not really competing for a championship at least for the next 2 years. And he may be at a point, maybe, where he's like, I'm okay not competing for a championship. Because this team, with their cap situation, with their draft pick situation, they're not going to be competitive. They'll be playing to 6 seed, maybe somewhere in there, tops. But they're not going to be championship ready. Even in a year where the East is going to be really down with Jason Tatum out of Boston for a whole year. He's going to be in Milwaukee. Yay to the Bucks fans. They're going to keep their superstar. And Giannis is not the type that's going to make a big stink about it unless something really goes wrong. So it's good that he's going to be in Milwaukee. I applaud that. But it is what it is. And lastly, Dame returned to the Blazers. I'm going to credit Jeff Teague on this one. Jeff Teague kind of called this, where he said this makes the most sense. Go where you are appreciated. And Dame is another one. Dame has made his money. Dame has made his money and still continuing to make his money. This isn't a bad look for Dame to go home. His other home outside of Oakland. Dame has given the Blazers their best moments in the last 10 to 15 years. So I appreciate him just saying, you know what, I'm going to go back where I'm appreciated. And the Portland fans, they're rabid fans. They love their players. And he's their star. Like, he has eclipsed Clyde Drexler as their number one star. I mean, you can argue Bill Walton, but I feel Bill Walton's morally known for his Celtics run and a little bit for his Blazers run also. But when I think of the Blazers, I think of Dame Lillard. Dame has just given us so many recent highlights and just great times in that Blazers uniform. And you wish that would have transitioned to Milwaukee, but it just didn't work. Those 2 years, it sucks because on paper it should have worked. And we should have gotten some really exciting times with him and Giannis. But sometimes, things work on paper, but they don't work in the real world. And it looks like that's what happened with this. So next, we're going to move to the WNBA. It's their All-Star Weekend. I am not a big WNBA fan, but I've kind of made a decision where I'm going to start watching more games. I watched a lot of these players in college. I've been a big Paige Beckers fan since she came on my radar as like a high school senior. Just watching her YouTube clips. So I've been a fan of hers for a while. I watched the whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing. I am not going to get to that. Just know that RG3 is a dummy. He's an idiot, and I really wish he would just shut them up because he not handle cultural issues well at all. I want to get more invested in the WNBA, and so this is going to be my real jumping on point. I'm purely casual. So yes, I know the stars. I know Paige. I know Kelsey Plum. I know Asia. I know Sabrina. I know Stewie. I know these players, but I don't watch the game as much as I should, and even as much as I want to. And so I'm going to start. This is going to be my jumping off point. Unfortunately, this All-Star game, Caitlin Clark will not be in it. She made a statement yesterday that she won't be in the All-Star game or the three-point shootout. So that sucks for the league because they need their number one star to really, to be involved in these activities on All-Star Weekend. So that sucks, and I'm gonna make sure I am watching this weekend because I just want to see how it goes down. I've never been tuned into it, so we'll see. So one thing I will say about WNBA, a point that I think goes missed, in my opinion. The rise in the popularity of women's basketball, there is a straight line to Steph Curry. A lot of men who didn't watch women's basketball always had the same complaint. They don't dunk, they don't seem athletic, they don't, you can't, there's no fast break, like things like that. Like, it all seemed to come down to they don't dunk, which is why you have people like Shaq saying lower the rim, things like that. But with the advent of how the NBA game has changed, where it's more shooting focused and more movement around with the ball, that played right into women's basketball because now it's you see more of a finesse in the NBA, and that's what women's basketball's always been. They've been all textbook cuts, ball movement, things like that. So I think there's a straight line you can draw to Steph Curry's emergence to the popularity of women's basketball. Now, women's basketball needed a star to kind of make that rise, and the stars aligned, and you got a Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese rivalry, and then they went to the league, and you got that at a point where Paige Beckers was out because she was injured. So the next year in college basketball, it was really all about Paige, and Paige's star could continue to climb. And now you have these players coming into WNBA, these young players, and you have the older guard. You have the Asia Wilsons, the Stewie, the Sabrina Ionescu's. You have these players still in their prime playing high-level basketball. So right now, we are in a golden age for WNBA where we have youth and we have the great players still in their prime and not quite exiting their prime. So I think the WNBA is in a really good position. I know they've got a CBA coming up. They're doing expansion. So this is a good spot for the WNBA right now. And I think it's only going to go up from here as long as we can stay out of these dumb arguments about Angel Reese and Caitlin. So next, we're going to get into a culture segment. And culture is going to involve anything from music to things that's not necessarily basketball related. And we might even talk about sneakers one week. Who knows? We're going to try to cover certain bases, especially in the offseason and especially during the summer where there's not a lot going on. I want to jump into the WWE. So I haven't talked about wrestling a lot on this podcast because I just really I wasn't sure where a good entry point would be. But I picked this week to have this entry point because I think the WWE is in a very interesting spot. So first, let me preface this. I don't watch indie wrestling. I don't watch AEW. I'm not that guy. I am a mainstream wrestling person, okay? That's who I am. I grew up in the South. The NWA, WCW, those are my people. So I'm always going to have an affinity for Ric Flair. He is my GOAT. I don't care what anyone else says. They want to say Cena. They want to say Roman. They want to say The Rock. Don't care. Ric Flair is the GOAT. He's my GOAT. And there's nothing you can do to change my opinion of that. I fell out of wrestling for a while. I would say maybe after the Monday Night Wars, maybe right when Evolution with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase's son, when they were coming in. I think that's kind of when I fell out of wrestling for a while. Probably like 15 years. And then one day in YouTube, I saw this.
Oh, unbelievable counter! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
And I said, I need to watch wrestling again. And I was like, I forgot how much I just loved wrestling because Randy Orton has been one of my favorites for the longest. Even because the RKO the RKO is culture at this point, right? Like, you know what the RKO is. You've seen the YouTube clips of just random people doing it because it comes out of nowhere. You know, the RKO took over from the Stunner because that's just what it was such a great move and how he can execute it from various angles. You know, so I saw that clip one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch wrestling again. And I feel like it was the Royal Rumble when Cody came back, and then he promptly got injured. And I was like, okay, I'm in. So since then, I've been watching it, and I'm not watching it because of Cody, but I think that premium live event, because it's not pay-per-view anymore, that sold me. So this Seth Rollins injury is crazy because this run he's been on has been amazing. I think there's been good storytelling. I think there's been indecisiveness with the crowd of are they going to boo, are they going to cheer. His injury at Saturday night's main event kills his storyline. And so now I know the writers are scrambling and what to do. And that's why I think the men's division is a mess. It's just a big mess. We don't know what's up with Roman Reigns. I mean, he came back on Monday Night Raw, but we don't know what's up with him. Like, are we going to see him on TV back-to-back weeks, back-to-back events? Because he hasn't really done that. I know he's got him and Cody have Street Fighter is going to start filming soon. They just got casted for. So we don't know how long they're going to be in this rotation of kind of being available. So Roman Reigns had a great. He appeared on Monday Night Raw. It was great. He did his thing against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Awesome. I wish he would have spared Braun Breaker. That would have been a great look. But regardless. But you've got a cluster at the top of the men's division. So you got Roman, you got Drew, you got CM Punk, you got Cody Rhodes. Then you have kind of the mid-carders of Braun Breaker, the whole MFT thing going on, Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. And none of them have good storylines right now. Drew McIntyre is the best heel in wrestling. And he has nowhere to go. They gave him a throwaway match at Saturday Night's main event against Randy Orton. But Drew McIntyre needs a foil. They need to use him because he is amazing at it. So for SummerSlam, you've probably got Cody's going to be against Cena again. Then probably CM Punk against Gunther. So you have that. But I don't know if I want to see a CM Punk Gunther match, to be honest with you. But CM Punk needs to win a belt. I think even if it's a short reign, I think he kind of needs to have a belt again. Cody's going to lose against John Cena because it's not time yet. It's not time for Cena to lose. And then how does Roman play in all this? Roman hasn't had a belt in almost 2 years now. But to be fair, he hasn't been around in 2 years. They need to figure out a way to make, after they finish Jacob Fatu with this MFT thing, they need to figure out a way to make a Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu story. And they need to do it ASAP. Because those are the two most exciting young wrestlers you have, and you need to use them. So with that said, I am going to blind rank 5 WWE superstars, and we are going to see, where we end up. So my first name, Jacob Fatu. Oof. I am going to put Jacob at 4. I think 4 works for Jacob. Yeah. Jacob Fatu, number 4. Next, we have Roman Reigns. Sheesh. Okay. Here's the thing with Roman Reigns, right? I like Roman Reigns. I don't see him enough. But he is the tribal chief. And when I do see him, I'm excited for it. So, man. Is there anybody I can think of that could beat? Man, this is early, but I'm going to go number 1, Roman Reigns. Whew, CM Punk. Okay, so CM Punk is next. So I've got 1 and 3. I probably should have put him at 3. I don't think I want him at 2. I don't think I want him at... Oh, jeez. CM Punk is going to be 5. 5 for CM Punk. Drew McIntyre. Ooh. So, I don't know who... I just gave this a randomizer of WWE superstars. I gave them a list up, just so you know this is legit. I gave them 10 names, and so it could be any of these 10 names. So the next one I pulled is Drew McIntyre. Man, I really like Drew. But something tells me that Cody is going to be one of those. Do I like Drew McIntyre more than Cody? Yes, I like Drew McIntyre more than Cody. So I'm going to give Drew 2. Oh, wow. Okay, Cody Rhodes wasn't even in it. So the last name was Braun Breaker. All right, so my final blind rank. Roman Reigns, number 1. Drew McIntyre, number 2. Braun Breaker, number 3. Jacob Fatu, number 4. CM Punk, number 5. I probably would switch Braun and CM Punk. I really thought Cody was going to be one of those names. Obviously, I was wrong. So yeah, so yeah. All right, great. So this iteration of women's wrestling, I'm a huge fan of. Becky Lynch is my favorite women's wrestler right now. Oh man, actually between her and Rhea, those are my favorite women wrestlers right now. I think Becky has great mic skills. Good wrestler. I think Rhea is the total package right now. Like she gets it. It's kind of hard to explain with Rhea. But what I don't like is this Io Sky championship run. it's been the most uneventful championship run that I can remember. She's defended the belt 4 times, maybe, and like 3 of them was against Rhea. So it wasn't. She was off TV for a few weeks. I don't understand what they're trying to do with her. And now she's gonna have a triple threat match with Naomi and Rhea at SummerSlam. I think her run was disrespectful. I think they need to do better. They have to do better. She is a great talent. The crowd seems to love her. They just need to do better with her. This elevation of Jade Cargill, she cannot win a belt at SummerSlam. She can't, because her matches aren't that good yet. And I'm not sure what kind of champion she will be. I know they're trying to fast track this Jade Bianca rivalry, which that will be exciting. And then good matches from that point. If they want to put her in the title contention, then cool. But I don't want to see Jade Cargill with the belt. Definitely not the World Championship belt. She can vie for the IC belt. I think her and a Becky Lynch run would be cool. I know Lyra's kind of running that right now, but yeah, like I don't think they're handling that well. Maybe even some matches with Julia for the US belt. I don't know, something, but her and the World Championship picture, I'm just not a fan of. So the women's division is in great hands. The Lyra Becky rivalry with Bayley coming in has been great. That was, to me, the best match of Evolution. That was the best match. That was great spots, just good wrestling. I enjoyed that to the max. So more of that. Less, yeah. And please put Nia Jax back in the mix. Nia Jax last year, her running roughshod through people, that was good TV. We need more Nia Jax. Put her, somehow weave her back into something, but we need more of her. All right, so we're gonna jump to some music stuff. Just real quick, Clips came out last week. Please check out my review about the Clips album. I posted that earlier this week. Please check it out. It's been getting great feedback. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Boldy James, Nicholas Craven. Really good project. Late to My Own Funeral. Good project. I thought it was cool. Trapezoid is a strong song. It's a strong project. Not better than the Clips, but still check it out. Larry June and Carter Got Wings. Check that project out. Great summertime music. Windows down, top down. Larry June never disappoints. Those 3 projects show that one producer, one artist works. And we need more of that. The hodgepodge of 10 producers over 15 songs, you can tell. Not everyone's gonna be able to craft albums like an Illmatic, because that's just kind of my first reference, where you can have 6 different producers, but they all have a similar sound. Now we have all these different producers, all these cooks, all these chefs, so to speak. The sounds are so varied that it doesn't feel like a cohesive project. So yeah, please, more one producer, more one artist albums. Speaking of, we have Alfredo 2, Alchemist, Freddie Gibbs, coming up next week. Excited for that. And lastly, Raekwon, the chef, dropped on Mass Appeal Records, Nas's label, today actually. So go check that out. I haven't got through the whole album yet. The first half is pretty solid. I may do a review on that sometime next week, because I want to actually give it some time and actually listen to the album so I can really give a review for it. But it's enjoyable so far. I recommend it, at least the first half of it. So check out these albums, man. They've been good. I have not checked out Travis Scott because I don't like him as an artist. But if you do, check out his album. Check out Justin Bieber. That came out too, I guess. I don't know if Justin Bieber fans kind of make it over here. But lastly, what I'm kind of burning on, my clear out, so to speak. We have to protect what's ours. And when I say what's ours, it's not necessarily a black-white thing in this sense. It's a culture thing. In hip-hop, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of interlopers. People coming over here, content creating, making reaction videos, doing whatever they want, and making $1 off it, and not caring about the culture. There was a clip going around about this reactor mad at Fantano for not rating Travis Scott album high, and he says, who cares about the lyrics? And that shows a lack of appreciation to hip hop as a in general. We've always cared about lyrics, as that's always been a thing. We've always elevated our lyricists in this genre, in rap music. So for him to interlope, for him to carpetbag in our culture and say, who cares about this? And then for him to get monetized on it. And then us as people who love the music, we keep sharing it. So we have to stop elevating these idiots because they get money off of this. So we keep amplifying their message. They're getting paid to do this. So they're going to keep doing things like that because it triggers people. You have to share and everything like that. So that's why I'm not giving his name. I'm not sharing it. I want to talk about it. But I'm not going to give this guy any type of elevation, any type of amplification, because that's where we go wrong. We think if we share it, then people can be aware, blah, blah, blah. But in this modern age, it doesn't work like that. The more you share, the more money they make. So we have to protect what's ours. And we have to stop expecting people who don't care about the music and the culture to care like how we care. I don't expect Kai Cenat to do a Clips breakdown. That's not his thing. So why would I ever expect it out of him? I don't expect Aiden Ross to jump on a stream and be like, oh, the Clips music is so great. No, he doesn't. He's like, he's a gambler and he's probably a drug addict too. So he doesn't get records like the Clips. He doesn't get Larry June. So I don't expect that. We need to stop expecting these people to come into rap spaces and to appreciate these artists the way we do. So these carpetbaggers, these content creators, we need to keep them in their place. These are the nerds that got bullied in high school. And there's a reason they got bullied in high school. So the cool kids could exist in peace. You guys can exist over there and enjoy Travis Scott. Love it. Jump up and down. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't come over here using your low standards to try to judge and rate what we do over here. And that's all I have to say about that. So that's my clear out for this week. So look, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the likes. Like, subscribe. A Tribe Called Swish. This is B More. I'm signing out. See you probably next week. Peace.